Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Allahumma anfa'ni bima 'allamtani wa 'allimni ma yanfa'uni wa zidni 'ilman. Walhamdulillahi ala kulli hal. Ameen summa ameen. Today's topic is going to be present indefinite tense. But before starting the topic, I want all of you to please subscribe to my channel and do share the videos. And if there are any other kind of topics that you want me to discuss, do mention in the comment section. Thank you so much. Let's start the topic. Okay, students, now the point is that we all are told how to use a tense. Okay, we are told the exact structure of a sentence, but we are never told when or in what conditions are we supposed to use a specific kind of tense. So I'm going to start my lecture with the same point. Let's talk about present indefinite tense usages. First of all, for example, if you want to talk about general truths or facts, for example, the sun sets in the west, or honesty is the best policy. Now these are general truths or facts and everyone agree. Okay, and then other examples are water keeps its level, wolves may lose their teeth but not their nature. So in all of these kind of situations and statements, we prefer present indefinite tense sentence structure. Another usage of the same tense is repeated action. For example, if you are doing an action again and again in your life, or maybe on every Sunday you actually do an action and so on, you repeat an action, some maybe in every morning you do an action, so that is going to be a repeated action, and we use present indefinite tense sentence structure for such kind of actions. The examples are on your screen. We come here every week. Ahmed always speaks the truth. She always comes late. Aliza never completes her homework. Okay, so whatever the actions are being repeated again and again, we use present indefinite tense. Moving on, the third use of this tense is when we are talking about our habits or maybe someone else's habits. For example, my habit is to sleep. Okay, I'll say I love to sleep. So that is my habit, and I have to use present indefinite tense. Or I am a slow writer. Again, that is my habit, and even that is my nature. So that is going to be present indefinite tense. The examples are still there on your screen. We get up before sunrise. She takes tea twice a day. They play cricket on Sunday. So that is their habits, and we are using present indefinite tense. And then we have the daily routines. Whenever you're talking about your daily life, daily routine, you always use present indefinite tense. For example, if I talk about my daily routines, I'll say I wake up around 10 o'clock, I do my breakfast at 10:30, and then I take my online Quran class, and afterwards I go for my online course and I attend classes and give lecture to my students. After that, around evening, I take tuitions and then I go to bed. Okay, so I have used present indefinite tense. Okay, now in a sentence there is always a subject, a verb, and an object. Now, if we talk about the verb in present tense, I can tell you that there are basically two main types of verbs. The first one are the state of being verbs. We also call them be verbs, like beb verbs. And then the other verbs which are like teach, cook, sleep, breathe, run, etc. So is mr verbs are also used in present indefinite tense. Okay, when there is no main verb, we use is mr. So please do not confuse these words with any other kind of tense. You can use is mr because I told you it's always the subject, the verb, and the object. Now it's up to you if you want to use is mr verbs or the other verbs. Okay, if I tell you about the universal formula or sentence structure in English, then that's over here on your screens. The subject, the verb, and the object. This is how a sentence is organized in English language. First of all, there is a subject. and then there is a verb and then an object. A sentence can be without helping verb. In this case, the main formula is subject plus main verb plus object. Now over here, the helping verb is basically referring to is, am, are, and please keep this thing in your mind that is, am, are are basically the helping verbs in present indefinite tense. When you do not have any other main verb, you use these words. For example, I am Ayesha. Now I is a pronoun, am is a verb, and Ayesha is definitely a pronoun, a proper noun. Over here, am is the helping verb and there is no other verb. You see, even the main verbs are missing. We still have to add a verb to a sentence to make its complete sense. The examples are there. I read newspaper, he plays cricket, you work very hard, she comes every day. Okay. Now look at this picture. He paints posters. Now over here, he is a pronoun which is basically a subject. And you know what does a subject do? It always tells you who or what performs the action of the verb is the subject. For example, the doer of the action, whoever performs an action is basically the subject. And then the paints, which is verb, an action word, okay? And then posters, object. Whoever or whatever receives the action is the object. So object is over here is posters, which means the object is something on which the subject does an action. For example, I write on board. Now I is the subject because I am doing the action, write is a verb, and then board is basically an object. And that is the reason why is it an object, because I am doing the action on the board. Clear? Okay. Let's move to the very first sentence structure of present indefinite tense, which is going to be an affirmative sentence. Okay. Now we know that there are subject, verb and object in a sentence structure, but in case of I, which is the first person pronoun, you, second person pronoun, and then we, they and plural, any plural form like boys, birds, cities, Ayesha and Anza. Now you see, Ayesha and Anza, they are plural forms, okay? They are not singular because we are joining two people. So with these words, with these subjects, with these pronouns, we use first form of verb with root word, and there can be any object. Now let me tell you that it's not necessary that you people are going to use an object always. Sometimes there are no objects. For example, I write, he sleeps, she jumps. See, there are no objects. That's perfectly fine. So don't get startled over this, that where is the object, the sentence is incomplete. Object is always an optional thing, okay? But well, it's not optional always, because sometimes you need an object so that the verb makes its complete sense, and that is something that you will do in the types of verbs. So with I, you, we, they and plural form of present indefinite tense affirmative sentence, we always use the very first form of verb, which is the root word. Clear? The infinitive form. Moving on, if you have he, she, it singular, which means third person singular pronoun or any other singular noun, for example Ayesha, boy, country, etc., you will use first form of verb, but you will also add s or es, and then there can be any object. For example, she sings and disturbs everyone. The boy is very naughty. In the first example, you can see that I have added s and s with sing and disturb. You see, and you know, there is a general kind of mistake. We always add s or es with the first verb, but after the conjunction, if there is any other verb, we forget about that. So keep this thing in mind, that both of the verbs of the main subject need s or es if The subject is he, she, it, singular, Ayesha, boy, country, etc. And in the next sentence, the boy is very naughty. Now, where is the verb? Just find it out. Okay. Yes, is. The is article, boy is a noun. Is very naughty. Naughty is an adjective. Over here, is the main verb. I told you when we do not have the main verbs, the helping verbs act as the main verbs. So over here, just don't confuse it with the rest of the sentence structure. Okay. And in case of is MR, we do not use S or ES if we have the subject as he, she, it, singular. Like you will not say the boy is very naughty. Okay, like ISES, because I told you when the subjects are he, she, it, singular pronoun or something like that, we always add S or ES with the verb. But that is not the case in if you're using is are as the main verb in present indefinite tense affirmative sentence. Clear? Okay, moving on. Okay, this is a very important thing. When I was a student, I was never told about these strategies, how to make the plurals of a verb. Okay, I told you that in case of he, she, it and singular nouns, we have to add S or ES. Now the question arises that when am I supposed to use S or ES? Exactly. Like I can add S with just go, like go, S goes, right? I am not sure about these things. So here are some of the rules for them. The very first is if the verb is ending in a consonant plus Y, which means that the last letter of the verb is Y, but before that there is a consonant, you will drop the Y, you will remove the Y and add I instead of it, and then you will write ES. For example, TRY, try become tries with TRIES, tries. Now you see the last letter over here is Y, try, and before Y there is a consonant. That's why I have dropped the Y and instead of Y I wrote I and then added ES. Same is the case with carry and carries. The next rule is if the verb ends at O, S, Z, CH, SH or X, then add ES. This is such a simple rule. You need to memorize these last letters O, S, Z, CH, SH or X. Then add ES. For example, goes. See, the last letter is O. Then miss, MISS, miss. For example, I miss him. In this case, my subject is I, which is the first person pronoun. So I'll not add ES. Okay. Then, but if I say he misses him, in this case the subject is he, which is third person singular pronoun, and according to the structure of present indefinite tense affirmative sentences, I am supposed to use S or ES with the verb. So that's why I'm going to add ES over here, because in the rule I told you ending in O, S, Z, CH, SH or X, then we have to add ES. Same is the case with buzz, then catch, wash, fix. You see, buzzes, catches, washes, fixes. Okay, the third one is over here. A vowel followed by Y, just add S. You see, in the first one rule, I told you if there is a consonant and after the consonant the last letter is Y, then I'll drop the Y and instead of Y I'll write I, and then in the end I'll write ES. But in case of a vowel followed by a Y, which means that if the last letter of the verb is Y but before that a vowel is coming, I will just add ES. For example, in case of play, it's plays. You see, play, the end letter, the last letter is Y, and before Y there is a vowel. So that's why I only have added S. Plays, buys. Now you have to note that exceptions are always there with most of the verbs. we add s. Here is a small kind of task for you people. Just go through the previous rules that were over here and try to solve these and try to tell the verb form if the subject is he, she or it. Okay, let's move to negative sentence. I told you that the helping verbs are is/am/are, okay, and we use them in present indefinite tense when the main verb is missing. But if the main verb is there in the sentence or the main verb exists in the sentence, then in case of negative sentence I will use do or does. Okay, for example, if it's I, you, we, they, plural form or plural noun, then I'll say do not with first form of verb and any subject. For example, Ali and Ahmed are best friends. That was a sentence, okay? And later on, we said Ali and Ahmed are not best friends. Now let me repeat. If the main verbs are other than is/am/are, only then you will use do or does. But if the main verb is/am/are, continue with the same main verb and just add a not. Okay, the next question. They eat their dinner on time. Now according to the rule, according to the sentence structure, I am going to change this tense. Okay, they, see, they is a plural one, and with plural we use do or not. Okay, do not. So I am going to say they do not eat their dinner on time. I hope the concept is clear. Now I have explained this concept already in the previous slide, but let me repeat it again. He is a boy. Now over here, he is the subject and is a verb. I told you if is/am/are are used as main verb and there is no other verb in the sentence, like the regular verbs like teach, speak, run, jump, etc., then in present indefinite tense we will not use do, does in negative sentence. We will just add not with the verb. For example, she is happy, she is not happy. You see, I have not used do or does. Okay, and in case of he, she, it, singular noun or pronoun, we always use does not in the negative sentence and with first form of verb. Now note one thing over here, no s or es. If you remember, I told you in the affirmative sentence structure that with these subjects, he, she, it, singular, we always use verb with s or es. But when we are writing, we are making the negative of these sentences, we erase, we drop those s and es that were added to the main verb, and then there can be any other object. In other words, you can say that whenever you are using any helping verb besides is/am/are, which means is/am/are are not in this list, then you have to bring the form of verb to its first original form. Okay, for example, she sings and disturbs everyone. Over here, she is a singular pronoun, and then we have sings and disturbs. So with singular we use does not. I'll say she does not sing and disturb everyone. Remember, disturbs is also the verb of she, so make sure you also eat the s of disturbs while converting it into a negative sentence. The next one is the boy is very naughty. I told you in case of is/am/are, just add not. Okay, so it's very easy. The boy is not very easy. Okay, negative contractions. First of all, I need to tell you that these contractions are used in informal language and mostly in your spoken language. Okay, and you see, don't, don with an apostrophe and then t is do not, and doesn't for does not. Okay, so wherever you omit a letter, you put apostrophe instead of it. Like in the first one, you can see do, D-O-N, then apostrophe and then T, which means there was something at the place of apostrophe that I have omitted, and that was not. So wherever you omit something, you put an apostrophe over there. Clear? Interrogative sentences. Same subjects, I, you, we, they, plural, but we were using do helping verb with them. But now in interrogative sentence, you have to bring that do from middle of the sentence to the start of the sentence, and then there is the subject, then we have the helping verb, the infinitive form of the verb, which is the first form of verb, then any object. Please do not forget to put the punctuation mark, which is question mark, for interrogative sentences. Okay, let's convert these to interrogative sentences. Ali and Ahmed are best friends. Think of them. Yes. How can we translate this one, convert this one into an interrogative sentence? Yes, are is basically the main verb, and in case of is, am, are, we do not use do or does. So it means that this are is going to shift from middle of the sentence to the start of the sentence. Are Ali and Ahmed best friends? Question mark. Now, usually children over here make this mistake. They say, are Ali and Ahmed are best friends? No, do not repeat this second are, okay, because that is shifted. Then, next one, they eat their dinner on time. Now, it's very easy. Look at the subject. What is it? It's they, the plural form. And with plurals, we use do. So, we can say, do they eat their dinner on time? With a question mark. Apart from that, in case of he, she, it's singular, I told you that we use does. Now the point is that what about s or es? Yes, definitely we have to remove that s or es. Does, the helping verb, is going to be in the start of the sentence, then the subject, then the first form of the verb, and then the object. And yes, question mark. Now convert these to interrogative sentences. She sings and disturbs everyone. The interrogative form would be, does she sing and disturb everyone? Question mark. The boy is very naughty. Is the boy very naughty? Question mark. Okay. So in the comments, you need to tell me if I told you the correct one or not. Maybe I did a mistake. Again, he is a boy. The subject is there. The verb is. So in case of is, am, are, if we are using these verbs as main verbs and there is no other verb in the sentence, then in present indefinite tense we will use do or does. We will not use do or does in interrogative sentence. We will just bring the main verb to the start of the sentence. And if we talk about the example on the top, he is a boy. Over here, is the main verb. So I'll say, is he a boy, with a question mark. Well, that's such a silly question, isn't it? Because I'm saying he and then a boy, like strange. Anyways, okay, look at the example, the second example. She is happy. Is she happy? These are the expressions that we specifically use with present simple tense, okay, and they make your language a bit attractive and appealing than the normal sentence structures that you use. So frequency adverbs you can use with in your present indefinite tense sentences, like always. I always work hard. He always comes late. Usually. They usually arrive late. Often. Sometimes. Rarely. Never. They are always placed before the main verb. Clear? And then the time expressions are also there, like every day, week, Friday. I told you that present indefinite tense talks about the routines and habits. So you can use these time expressions with those kind of sentences. Okay, action time, guys. I want to tell about my hobby. Now, here are some of the questions that are on your screen. Just read these questions and speak to yourself in front of a mirror and answer these questions. In this way, you are going to practice the use of present indefinite tense. But in the last question, the tense is different. And the question is, if you are to convince someone to have it as their hobby, how would you convince them? In this sentence, you may deviate from present indefinite tense and move to any other types of tenses, but that's perfectly fine. This is basically a speaking activity that I have arranged for you people. And then another exercise, look at the pictures and write answers and questions. So basically the pictures are on your screen, just look at them, the helping words are there, use these words and make an interrogative, informative and negative present indefinite tense structure sentence. Same is the case over here. Let me do one of them for you. The fifth one, clean the house on Mondays. For example, the affirmative sentence can be, my mother cleans the house on Mondays. Negative would be, does my mother cleans the house on Monday? Let me know if I was correct. Was I? No, exactly. That was interrogative. And even I said, does my mother cleans the house on Mondays? That's wrong. I told you when we use does, we bring the verb to its main form, that is clean. So the interrogative sentence would be, does my mother clean the house on Mondays? And negative can be, my mother does not clean the house on Mondays. So this is how you're going to attempt this one exercise, okay? Like second one is walk after lunch. I walk after lunch. Or she walks after lunch. Negative would be, she does not walk after lunch. I do not walk after lunch. And then the interrogative sentence, does she walk after lunch? Question mark. Do I walk after lunch? Question mark. Okay, this is how you're going to attempt this one exercise. Okay, moving on to our today's idiom, that is actions speak louder than words. Okay, it means when something is better to do than to speak about it, which means that you have to act instead of giving suggestions, instead of giving advices. It's better if you take the very first step. For example, how can we use it in a sentence? That's over here. I am going to work for an NGO in Africa fighting climate change. Actions speak louder than words. The next sentence is, instead of suggesting, do something because actions speak louder than words. Okay. So basically this one sentence is telling you the exact meaning of the same idiom. Then his entry in the police department has changed the system, maybe because of the fact that actions speak louder than words. Okay, let's talk about your home task. I have told you, I have briefed you about present indefinite tense sentence structures and all that, and its usages also. So now you have to pick any of the following topics, which are your habits, your routine, the general truths, repeated actions. How do you feel when you go to your favorite place? Just pick any of these topics and write 10 sentences about them. Besides that, I'm going to share some kind of worksheets with you in the WhatsApp. Do attempt them, share them with your family, whatever you came to know, whatever new was known to you today. And then what you can do is just take a picture of them and share with me also, so that I can check them. I hope the concept of present indefinite tense is clear, but if you still have any kind of questions, do comment and do let me know. Make a lot of queries. When you ask questions, you actually are in the process of learning. Thank you so much, everyone.